Wow, thank you, Sandy Horton, for that beautiful flute music that we get to use and cherish and play during these uh, magical days of the Yule, that we go and we explore ourselves even a little bit deeper. And you can't, sometimes you might be able to see it maybe as it gets a little darker. There is a fire going out in the yard and it's been going for about a few hours now. The it feels really strong and really good, and I have some candles on the patio. It's a really important year it's a year that we need to be inner strong. And I keep putting this out there because I know that it's true. For me, it's just like I keep sometimes lately saying to spirit, you know, how much more can you give me? And you've ever heard the AA thing that God only gives you as much as you can handle in a certain day? And that's how it kind of feels like. I get to one thing and I'm thinking like, phew, I can finally breathe. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, but you didn't know that this was coming right behind it. And for me this year it was uh, a tax audit. And I say that almost, it's making me really grumpy. In fact, I burnt all of these private documents out in the fire today because I've literally wasted 1,000 sheets of paper, which really is really kind of frustrating. But I didn't really want them to go anywhere, so I put them in the fire earlier and let them go in peace to that IRS spirits, I guess. But you have to look for the good in everything with it. You just have to look for the good in it. And the good for me is that had I found out about the audit 4 months ago when the papers came, I was right in the middle of finishing an important project in my life, and it would have been really upsetting. It would have upset the whole apple cart. So yes, is this annoying? Yes, but do I have the inner strength and the inner resolve to go through this and go through whatever the next wobble is? And I believe that I do, and I believe that you all do. And the reason that you're all here is because you all want to deepen that. I've had this slogan for this year, and I don't know if it's a good slogan or not, but that it's time for us spiritual practitioners and shamanic workers to get out of our bath salts. We've been kind of luxuriating in the ability to take courses and go places and travel places and get all of this spiritual buffet of sorts. And yet now we're being called to put those practices, put those trainings into practice. And yesterday I had to do that. I had to get away from the computer in this, compiling data mode. And I went out into the snow and I played like a child for an hour or so in sledding because we got some snow. Hence, it's so cold outside. I can't be outside near the fire because my fingers froze. And that's just the way it is this year. Is like that there's an intensity that's so rich, and yet we have all of the tools to move ourselves through those and off of those. And I was thinking about it when I was sledding down the hill about like, okay, one of the things that I pride myself in as a teacher is that I walk my talk. I'm honest with what's going on in the world with my students. And I try to model a better way of walking through something than what they saw before. Now, so if I just literally sat at the computer banging away and didn't go out to play, didn't take those, I took a wind walk every single day for the last 2 weeks because we don't have the luxury, we don't have the option of not doing our whole spiritual practice. For example, somebody threw some energy, and this whole inner strong thing this year is about really learning how to set boundaries and borders. Someone threw some energy my way, and I had to realize that I wasn't putting proper protection around myself all the time. And so now, like, I do my wind zips. If you don't know what those are, stick around, join us at the Inner Strong program. I go around and I actually, every single day, I put up a border or do not trespassing sign around my whole house before I go to sleep. And lo and behold, if I forget, I get these dreams, and we forget that we have the tools. We have to remember we have the tools, but like a screwdriver that's sitting in your tool bag when you need to, take out a knob, it doesn't do you any good. You have to take out those tools and use them. And that's what, for me, this solstice is all about this year. And we're going to do a really powerful journey. And I'm not going to do a lot of talking this year. I've already started doing a lot of talking. I guess I can't help myself. I will do some talking. I first wanted to say thank you. And it's kind of a bittersweet thank you. And so one of the first things that I did today when I was setting up the altar was I made a grief altar because I realized for the last few days that I was grieving the Wind Clan the way it was. I was grieving the people who left this year, and whether they left because it was time to grow and change, it doesn't really matter. The grief is the same when you realize, wow, that isn't the same anymore. Those people aren't there to just, know how to dial all the knobs and do all of the tricks. And, and we all wish each other a lot of well, but it's still a matter of grief. So one of the things that we're going to do in the Inner Strong program is I'm going to share, a grief practice that a friend of mine taught me how to do with a grief altar. And so I actually set a grief altar up this afternoon for the people who have been here in the clan for a long time and who aren't here with us this year. But I want to celebrate because we've had 2 years of an apprenticeship program, and there was like 50 students or 50 apprentices a year. And so now they're ready to step in. And that's really exciting. So this year, our space holders, and I wonder if I can, I'm going to remove my spotlight so the direction holders here can say hello, okay? I didn't tell them this, so they weren't planning on it. So Trisha Mogstad, would you say hello? She's going to be holding the south direction this year. And she's on mute. That was your hi? Okay. Hello. Maybe she'll give us a little more when we sing in a couple days.
That's my hello. That's my hello.
Then we have Michelle, who's going to be holding the key of the west direction. And she was here. There she is. I see her. She's on her iPhone. It says owner's iPhone, if you see it. We have Leora, who's holding the north. And we have Erica hiding. Erica, where are you? There you are. Erica's also the wind assistant. So if you email to windblessings@gmail, she usually is the one who responds. And then we have people who are assisting holding these directions. We have Andrea. I don't think she's in here right live. She might be on Facebook, holding the south. Inez is holding the east. We have Leanne in the east. We have Sandy in the west and Valerie in the north. And so I tell you these names because you're going to meet them this week, and they're going to be doing some special things in the Wind Clan. And then there's also going to be some other work that the people who are in the Inner Strong program are gonna experience too. And before we hit into the ceremony, I want to say about this Inner Strong program. So, of course, you take some hit when you change a program, and I'm okay with that. I'm inviting everybody who's listening to have an altar and share it in the Wind Clan as always. That's a given. We want to see your altars. We want you to share them in the Wind Clan. We're going to have some events in the Wind Clan. The reason that I created a smaller Inner Strong group was because last year we had hundreds of people sharing their altars, but we didn't really know who was holding the space for the bigger community. And so when there's we had hundreds of people, and there's a lot of altars, but not all of them were holding space for the entire community. So this year, I know right now we have probably 50 to 60, because I'm sure some more of you might get the call to join us to hold the candles for the next 10 days and be part of the Inner Strong program. And it's because we want to get to know you. We want to communicate about, it's a boundary setting thing. It's like, I want to know if you know in the smaller group of where there's like a hole in the directions, or where that there's something escaping, or where there's something not gelling, instead of us all getting to the end winded. Because that's what happened last year. We were all trying to contain this space, but we didn't know where the space was being contained. So this year our work is to, let's see if we can, get in and hold the space in a way that the rest of you can have your altars. You can come to the Wind Clan and you can ask for prayers. Imagine if there's a real solid group of people holding that fire and you can benefit from the prayers. I think that's a win-win for us all. So the part you all come for is like the ceremony part, right? Is there any questions on the wall? Anyone who's managing the walls for me? Can you kind of let me know if there's a question? So we're in a waning moon. What does that mean? It means it's the darkest day of the year, and we're into a dark moon of this darkest day of the year. So that means that we're going to get to go into this place and really examine, what our shadows are, what is going on in that underbelly of our spirit that's keeping us from shining fully bright in the sunlight of our souls. And I think that's really important information. Like doing this paperwork for me has gotten me really grumpy, like so grumpy that, it's like, I don't even don't invite, someone invited me for dinner the other night and I almost bit off their head, and it's like, wow, what is so important about this that can make me lose my center? So what the first question is I'm going to give you all a writing assignment for a second to look at what are those places in you, what are those blemishes, what are those wounds in you that still take you from your center. So I'm going to put the music back on for a minute and just take a couple minutes to either write or to go in your meditation and think about what is keeping you from being the fullness of yourself. I meant to tell you to bring some writing paper, but I didn't. So you'll have to bear with me. So take a couple of minutes to write and see what's keeping you from the fullness of your embodied self, your service work, your soul's purpose here. If this would change, then I would do what? If I had more money, if I had more students, if I had the lover. if you're like me, you know all of those blemishes and all of those pimples and all of those warts. We've done a lot of spiritual work. It's not like we don't know what our shadows are, although sometimes they're hidden from us. You know, sometimes you just can't see what's right before you. And so that's why we go deeper and do this work. So what I'm going to do is you've made that list. And if you haven't made it, you can write it on, you're going to be asked to take it on this journey with you. So it may be, there are always new ones there. So you can write on that list, and we're going to go on a journey. And what we're going to do on this journey is I pre-recorded it this afternoon by the fire. So it was not quite as cold out there then. But we're going to go on this journey, and and I want to thank Tyler Hood. I sent it to him. I edited quickly together and sent it to him, and he sent it back to me as a polished journey in like less than 30 minutes. So thank you, Tyler and Raven. We have a great big support staff here at the Wind team, and I want to just, I could not do it without all of the apprentices, without all of the team. And so thank you. And they go through this in the holidays every single year. I'm like, I'm not doing this again. And every year it comes to December and it's like, oh, but my soul requires us to do this again and again and again, because it's a responsibility to keep a candle going for 10 days. You know, they go out. You get creative. You start seeing candles in the middle of the year. You like start buying them, stocking them up. You know, you might have a flame. You might use the purple flame. There's so many ways to keep the fire going, but to intentionally keep a flame going from today until the 31st of, yes, Trish made her own candles. You know, I bought some. I had a woman make me some protection candles. They're really powerful. They're really great. I sent them to all of the American fire tenders that the direction holders. I've got to figure out how to get them to those ones who are in faraway lands. But they're to keep the energy strong. This whole year is about keeping our energy strong from an inner flame, not from outer support, but from the inner flame, that we all show up as strong as we can be to hold hands in a circle. And it doesn't get much better than that. I have to say that I feel so held by this apprenticeship group that I could cry. I might cry. I'm going to cry. And because they've all become inner strong, so they're able to hold the circle with the rest of us and all of this bigger circle that's joining us. That's pretty cool, because I know where a lot of people started and I know where they are now. And God, I love the Winds. I don't know if all of you know about the Winds, but this is a great book. And this week we picked somebody to read the audio. He's going to be reading the audio book, and it's very exciting. It'll come out next year. But let's get on to the ceremony, all right? Because that's what we're here for. So I'm going to invite you to all close your eyes. I'm going to get yourself comfortable and get ready for this journey. We're going to be heading with Hulda. That's who decided to come, and she loves the wild hunt. So it's not surprising she came out of the Wind Spirit deck today. She's taking us 40 years into the future to see what this little scar, this little wound looks healed. And we're meeting the Wind Council there to help us do any healing in 40 years from the future, so that we can bring that healing back into our lives right now. Doesn't that sound pretty cool? So, you ready? All right. Calling to Eurus, the east wind. Be here. Help us to open our minds, to restore ourselves from the past, present, and future. We call upon you with gratitude in our hearts and in our lives for all of the things you come and clear away and all of the things you help us build. Call upon, notice the south wind, the winds of emotions, the winds of our needs and desires. We ask that you sit with us for anything we're grieving, anything we've lost, anything we've loved. Be with us in this circle, in this space. Help us to feel fulfilled as we sing and dance, that our hearts may be open and full of joy. As we turn to the west, the home of the setting sun, where Zephyrus removes what is dead from the trees. Help us as we come to the endings and to see what we have in our harvest for this year. Be with us as we walk this path, as we walk this cyclical experience, as we move into the darkness and back into the light. Return to the north of Boreas, that cold north wind that lives beyond the furthest mountain, that wind that is with us for the solstice, the wind that is with us for this winter solstice. We ask that you be with us, that you hold all the seeds that we planted in your cold belly of the winter with those wind-chilled winds, holding them until the conditions are right so that they may grow again. We call to the winds of the earth, the winds that are restoring this fire, the winds that restore us and hold us and mulch us throughout the year. Be with us here today. We call to the overarching council of the wind spirits who are watching over this solstice, who are watching over our ceremony as we go deeper. And for those who are going into the Inner Strong program, that they may have all the food and all the fire and all the water and all the air and all of the spiritual guidance to sustain them through this process of keeping the candle lit, keeping the fire burning. And I call to Hale, the wind goddess, the Teutonic wind goddess who goes by many names, Hulda, who takes us on the wild hunt tonight, who will take us on this journey into the becoming. We call upon you, Hale. Be with us here in spirit and be with us here to take our souls to where we're heading. Oh, we're so grateful that you've decided to join us on this inner journey to this outer space. Make yourselves comfortable. If you have your drums, your rattles, however it is that you want to go on this journey with us at the fire. It's going to be a guided journey, And what we're going to do is we're going to be going 40 years into the future. We're going to look at what we've written down on that piece of paper of that thing that we believe is stopping us, from the becoming that we envision in our hearts and in our minds. And we're going to go to the Council of the Winds and we're going to ask them for guidance. Is it real? Is it not real? Is there something else that's hidden to me at these times? And we're going to be open. We're going to go with an open heart and an open mind for this experience to be in the magic of the circle of the winds 40 years into the future, so that they can heal something in this very point of this waning moon of the here and now. Imagine yourself in your favorite place in nature. And turn and face the north wind. And welcome Boreas. Thank Boreas for taking you on this spiritual journey on this auspicious night of the solstice. And imagine ourselves in a big circle around a blazing fire. Circle and greet your brothers and sisters. And now remember what you wrote down on that paper. What is that one thing that if you could change or make different in your life would change the trajectory of your future? And then put that slip of paper in your pocket or on your person somewhere. And then Hulda arrives with her wild steed and her great cart to take us all on this wind journey. And we file on 2 by 2s, filling up the rows. And once we're all situated, she takes off from this earth plane, these snowy fields, and she heads out. She heads out beyond the waning moon, into the darkness, into the twinkle of the stars. She's taking us out beyond the further reaches of our imagination. Look around as we go. We're moving through time, we're moving through space. Upon the trip. What does the surroundings look like? Is it crystalline? Is it a summer day? Is it a winterscape? What does this look like for you? Look down at your feet. Look up at the sky. And now we're going to walk together as a group. And as we go through this archway, we're stepping into a landscape that's 40 years into the future. What do you see? And as you look around, who is there to greet you? What has been healed? What has changed in the landscape? What do you still need to heal in 40 years? What did you bring here to heal today? Can you give it to the Council of the Winds? And ask the Spirit of the Wind Council, is this real? answer into your heart. And as you feel that being blown into your heart, feel it transcending all the way through time and space to your current situation. Right here. In the present of the fire. Feel it healing you. And feel as everybody else in the circle gets their healing from the wind spirits. And now we're going to thank these spirits for helping us and ask, which wind came to help me? Was it the east wind? Was it the south wind? Was it the west wind? Was it the north wind? And bow to that wind. Thank that wind. Show your gratitude to that wind. And one final question before we leave. Ask the wind spirits if it is your time to do a vigil with the fire. Will that transform you? Is this the time for you to become inner strong? Now we're going to all go as a group back over to Holy Sleigh. And we're going to head back. We're going to enter into the light. The light is shining down on us as we come back towards the field, back towards your favorite place in nature, back to that large fire with the community. And as you get off the sleigh, take your time at the fire, throw that piece of paper that needed healing into the fire, those written words, because it's healed. And so it is. Then join your brothers and sisters at the fire and give your gratitude for these auspicious times where we can sneak through the portals. Oh. You may want to do some more writing on this. I'm going to leave you to be with this healing gift that we all received, I hope. And you can share it later, maybe share your altar on the wall, the fire that you're tending, your inner fire. And if you do feel called to join us in the Inner Strong group, our first fire tender meeting is tomorrow at 2. So don't wait much longer beyond that, but we would welcome, some more people to hold that space for the whole collective that's here tonight and all of the other people who will join and take advantage of this. So I want to thank you. I want to thank all of the direction holders and the wind spirits and Hole and my guides and that helped me write this book, because sometimes when I read it, I think, like, who wrote this? I have no clue. And just a little shout out to these wind whistles that took us on this magical journey today. You know, it is December and there's a store-wide sale. And I'll give you a little secret. If you want to get an extra $10 off, use the, oh, I forget what it is. I'll put it in the comments. It's 2023 strong or something like that. There's an extra coupon floating around there that you can even take a little deeper discount. So I want to thank all the people who joined us live, all of the people who are going to listen later, and my heart is full, and thank you.